Hey, welcome to the channel, all about the blues harmonica and music in general. So if you haven't already, thumbs up and subscribe. Today I'm going to give you the ultimate lesson. This could apply to all musicians if you're starting out or you've been playing for a very long time. If you're not doing what I'm going to share with you today, then perhaps you should take it on board. This is a little bit of gold that I tell everybody. Not everybody takes it up, but it will transform you as a musician and push you to heights you wouldn't, incredible places you never thought possible. Alright, this is going to be the ultimate lesson for you. So, stay tuned and I'll reveal all after this. Okay, that was just me warming up over a track with a couple of changes. Now, the ultimate lesson. It doesn't matter whether you're starting out or whether you've been playing for a long time. It's the difference between the guys that are kind of getting there, the session guy, the guy that can do anything, and the rest. Alright? Because session guys, they're the guys that, the few and far between, precious, the session guy, can jump into a modern jazz outfit like that, do anything, read anything, orchestra, working for X Factor, working in an orchestra, working for, they can just drop them in and they'll do it. They'll work in the band for whatever. Yeah? And how are they able to do this? You know? Why can some people do all this and find it a lot easier than the others? Well, of course, it's the old story, isn't it? A bit like Alan Palmer, the golfer, once said. The more I practice, strangely, the luckier I become. Alright? Which is a interesting saying, isn't it? I don't like the word practice. I never really use it. I use the word play. Because if somebody says to you, do you practice? No. I just play. Because it's not a chore, is it? If it's a chore, if you have to, oh, I've got to find time to do something. You know, a soccer player doesn't do that, do they? They just, kid gets his football and goes off and plays with his friends, or kicks a ball against a wall and plays on his own. Yeah, that's how it is. Because they want to do it. Alright? So, the ultimate lesson, alright, today. So, this little instrument, like I mentioned before, to play in different keys is one of the essential things. And it's something that I coach. Or at least playing more positions than second and third. You should be developing in other positions as well. And you should do it early on. But here's the key. I'm now going to divulge and tell you or share with you something that is key, that will transform you unbelievably if you take on board what I'm about to say. But just listen at this first. Okay? Alright, that's a little, for people that are into jazz, that's a little jazz tune, okay? Doesn't matter for blues, but it's just an idea, because when you play that, or play it in different places, in different keys, okay, I'm just moving it through different keys, alright? actually what's happening with that particular tune, if you're not aware already, and I talked about in the last video, I'm using the cycle here, moving around the cycle. And actually in the start of that tune, it's basically the A section to an I Got Rhythm style arrangement tune in jazz. But don't worry about that if you're into blues. Don't concern yourself with that. But it's just that you're actually moving. You're moving. So there I played in. I'm playing this tune as if it's in first position, but actually the second part of the phrase you're moving into 12th position. All right, and you can use that tune actually to move around all the keys. All right. So, as I said, this is for all instrumentalists, not just harmonica players, for anybody. Okay, this is what you should do in essence, and I don't believe very few people do it. I don't see people coaching this on the internet. You should, as soon as possible, whether you're starting out or you've been playing years, right? If you hear something, in my day, like an advert on the telly, nowadays you might hear it on your laptop or hear it on your phone, hear some music, alright? You immediately pick up a musical instrument, and what you should do is aim to find its center point, or perhaps its root note, okay, where it is. And try and play the tune that you're hearing, try and emulate that on your musical instrument. Now, in order to do that, the more facility you have playing in different scales, the easier it will become. That's the first thing, okay? And that's one of the reasons, because we practice, I don't use the word practice, whoa, here we go. But when you're playing to go into different, this is why we use these kind of exercises, so that it gives us facility to be able to do this kind of thing. But when you actually execute it, and you should try this every day of your life with anything, you shouldn't really be telling yourself what key you are in. Okay? Where am I? You don't try and work it out that way. Free the mind up. Let the mind go free, as if you do meditation, as I do, a lot of people do. If you can free the mind up and then use the ear from that point and struggle through it, it's tricky. Whatever you do, don't get anybody to show you how to do it. Whatever you do, don't do that. Even if you fight through it and you can only get a couple of notes and 3 notes, and maybe a few days later you hear the same thing and you do the same thing again, or find something different. But you pick the point, and whatever note you suss out is your note that you're going to start with, you know, then go from there. And you can work out the ways and why-fors and what is happening and what you're doing later. Try and eliminate all that and free yourself up just to hear and respond. Alright? And this is a process that I coach with people who've been with me a while, and it's the difference between guys who really get there and really not, because your musicianship will go from here, it'll go through the roof. And you might not think that it's doing that, but you have to employ this all the time. And whatever you do, try not to ascertain, okay, it's this because I'm in that position. No, you just go for where you find the center of the note, and then you just attempt it. All right? And you should do this wherever. And if your coach, the guy that's coaching you, oh my Lord, the guy that's coaching you at the moment, throw me that, coaching at the moment, if they're not showing you this, aren't telling you this, they should be. And if they aren't, it's probably because they don't employ it themselves. I've come across some very fine musicians who can't do this, but it's the quintessential way of learning, whether you're a classical player or an improviser of modern jazz or blues or flamenco. It doesn't matter what it is. That is the definitive way that you will get ahead, and you will get ahead faster than anything. And it is a continual struggle. You'll get better at it, but you should employ it all the time. Alright? And that is the definitive lesson. That is it in a nutshell. That is what you should be doing. You know, you come across some great jazzers and you can walk in a room, as I've done in years gone by, and talking to a guy, because I've been a jazz saxophonist all my life, and I can play a whole wad of stuff, and some guys can just, oh yeah, hear it for the first time, sit at the piano and play the whole thing they've just heard. It's a great skill, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of at the ultimate level, perhaps. But there has to be a way and a reason why they got to that point. Okay? The problem is that people don't want to do it. As Henry Ford, the great industrialist, said, you know, they said, thinking must be the hardest thing it is, because very few people engage in it. Alright? And what this is, it's a cognitive exercise. I'm throw you into that cognitive exercise. It is the ultimate thing to do. And every young kid that started at 5, 6, 7 and 8, they probably just did this naturally. Sitting with a record player, as I did as a kid, and then you just naturally do it. No one's told them to do it, they just do it. I've had saxophone people I've taught he became a great jazz player. When he was 8 or 9, he was doing that. I was the only guy that took him when he was very young, actually. I don't normally take kids, but I'm going back many years, and he became a very fine player. He was doing that naturally, okay, from age 8 or 9, I think he was doing that with an alto sax. That's what he was doing. So it's essential. If musicianship's got to develop and people want to develop, that is the way to do it. There is no other way around it. That is the way that you can get everything, and everything else will fall in place around it as you learn and get to grips with music and everything else. Alright, so there it is today, the ultimate lesson. Whether you take it on board or not, that's up to you. Alright, thumbs up and subscribe. You can get me for lessons on Harpo the Healer Wicks. Get stuck into the blues harp. And as always, I'll catch you on the rebound.